If you manage your finances correctly, if you do the right things with your money, you won't be so quick to be impulsive about pressing the button to get a feel good moment, because you'll be in a better position mentally because you have all your finances in the right place, all of the insurances in place, the protections, all the things that would cause the average person to be scared and always stressing out. Like, I'm not worried about any of that shit. I'm not worried about nothing. Okay. I know, I know any given day something bad can happen, but I don't live my life worrying about that. I'm not going to go into the market to make myself feel good when it does. I don't give a shit. I'm not worried about that stuff. But you, as someone that's now starting how to do all this stuff, if you start falling into success, you don't have that yet because you're going to be new money. And new money isn't generally organized. It's not prepared. Um, you are more interested in clout and showing up and showing out. And there's things that you should be doing to fortify yourself, protect yourself from other people trying to take what you have and victimizing you. So you want to be able to change your perspective on what it is you do in your personal life, your management of your marriage, your relationships, and allow this not to be a factor for impulsiveness or allowing that relationship to be toxic. And then because of that toxic relationship, staying with people you know you shouldn't be with. Are you in an abusive relationship? It can be on both sides, physically or emotionally. If you know that's not working, unfortunately, sometimes you can't fix it. And if you're trying to reside with someone like that, that is toxic. And you're going to be more inclined to do things impulsively to give yourself a distraction. Or if I can just make a little bit of money today, it'll remind me that this is the right thing to do and I won't be here long because I'm making money. You're doing something outside your model. You're letting something other than your model tell you when to press the button. And that is going to invite failure. You're going to blow your account. You're going to wreck yourself. All these things compound. And you don't think about it when you first start getting into this because you think, oh, it's just trading. It's just pushing a button. It's so easy. It's up or down. Trading's easy. But you're listening to people that aren't making money. You're listening to people that are trying to be influencers and managing clout, social media engagement. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm telling you how to run your life like a corporation, run your life like a business, and run your trading like a business. All these things have to be in balance. Your personal life, your work life, and your financial decision making and your trading. That all has to be 100% moving in the same direction, not over here doing its own thing and over here doing it. And you're not letting anybody, even in your personal relationships, have a place in the decision making. Because if you do that, you're not in control. You will be impulsive. You will be reckless. You will be reacting emotionally to the stimuli that those relationships present. Everybody has a day where your spouse and you just, you're not doing things that would promote a calm environment, an argument of some kind, a disagreement. Everybody has that. Everybody has that. But it's typical for a man to take that out in the marketplace. If you're a trader, you get in an argument with your spouse, like generally our disagreements are my daughter, our daughter. Okay, her daughter biologically, but mine by marriage. But I raised her, so she's my daughter. And I want to see her do things, but I also know my place. But sometimes I say more than I should. And I say, this is what she should be doing. And I don't like the fact that you don't try to convince her that this is a problem for what she's doing and she shouldn't be doing that. And then she corrects me and says, no, I'm not going to do that. And I know without her saying so, it's not my place to say any more about it. And it's the truth. I'm not biologically her father, and she's an adult. She's her own person, but I'm also the guy that bails her out. So I have a little bit of a horse in the race here. So I kind of like want to defend myself as much as I can, but I also know my place. I don't want to be too overbearing with it, and then that's usually the source of our arguments. Okay, and when that happens, I'm frustrated because I know I can't breach that barrier that I'm not biologically her dad, even though she looks at me like dad and she respects me more than her biological father. I never press harder. So that stress is a real factor for me. But I don't go into the marketplace and say, I'm pissed off at my wife. I'm disappointed that my daughter's not doing what I told her to do. So I need to feel good about something. Let me go in there and over leverage the British pound because I need to distract myself. No, I don't do that. I don't do that at all. But what I do is I go into PlayStation and I play a particular round in Splinter Cell where I kill all the Russians okay, and I take it all out on them. And that's what I do. I go right there. I play that one round and I do it one time. It takes me 20 minutes and I feel good and it's done. That's my coping mechanism. If I don't have that, I probably would have gone into the marketplace. So you have to have some kind of hobby outside of trading so you can channel your energy, whether it be positive or negative energy. It might be the gym. It might be working out. It might be martial arts. It might be playing music or a musician, some kind of instrument or something. It may be art. Whatever it is, you need to have something outside of trading. So that way you can channel your energy and say, okay, I'm investing my time in trading. I'm investing my time in speculating. But once I'm done that, disconnect. Go do something outside of that. Reading, some kind of club, hunt, whatever. I don't know, whatever it is for you. Like that guy Pat, he surfs. That's cool. I like looking at that. To me, I'm waiting for a fucking shark to come up out of there and grab his ass up one time. I hope it doesn't happen, Pat, but I'm just expecting that shit all the time when I see people surf. I'm not going to do that. I love it, but I'm not going to do it. But you have to have a hobby. Somebody has to, be able to draw your attention away from the markets and you not feel like you're going to suffocate because you don't have your lifeline connected to the marketplace. And I had a long period of my time as a younger man where everything was that. There was this umbilical cord, this oxygen, like a scuba diver. Like it was my air supply. I had to constantly have my quote track. I had to constantly be talking about the marketplace. I had to constantly be able to see it. If I was visiting other people and I didn't have my quote track with me, I would ask them, hey, can I turn on your cable network and see what the Financial News Network said, which is CNBC now. But that I had to see what the ticker tape said. Every 10, 11 minutes, it would go about, I would say, okay, here's S&P, here's bonds, here's whatever market I'm looking at. That's not normal. I never had a chance to unplug. You have to schedule that. You need to do that in the beginning. So that way it keeps balance in your life. And it won't be like it was for me, where it was everything this. Relationships suffered. Children relationships suffered. Everything. My personal health, my fitness, everything. Everything was second to this. The markets were my God. It was my religion. It was my everything. And I was offended that other people didn't respect it like I had respect for it. And I was offended with my own family members when they asked me to spend less time with it and spend more time with them. That's not normal. That's not balanced. And that is not proper for a household or a family to run efficiently and everyone feel like they're doing their part. And unless you schedule it in the beginning and you run your life and your trading business like that in the beginning, it's real easy to get obsessive with it. Even if you're not an obsessive person, when you start making money, it changes you and you want more of it. Especially if you never came from money, it makes you feel like that's your whole purpose and that's who you are. And without that, you're nothing, when that's not true, which is the reason why you have to have something outside of trading, outside of your marriage too. You have to have some kind of outlet that is not trading. And whatever that is, you need to make sure that you're doing that away from the marketplace and not thinking about, I got to get back to charts. I got to get back to trading. If you're carrying your phone around while you're doing that other thing, or you're out with your spouse or significant other, and you're constantly looking at your phone, what's trading view? What's the market saying right now? That's not healthy. That's not healthy. And that's how it started with me. And all of a sudden, it'll overtake every moment of your life. And you're a slave to it versus mastering it. You want to be the master of it. You're the CEO. You are Mr. Everything, Mrs. Everything. You're the corporation. You run the show. You call the schedule. When are you working? When you're not going to work. But if you let the money become your master, you're going to slave for it all the time. And you're not going to be happy no matter how much you make. It won't be enough. It won't ever be enough. No matter how much money you make, when you fall victim to it like that, you are never satisfied. You never feel a sense of accomplishment. And you always feel like it's not enough. And you want to do what? Pour money into the marketplace. Why? Because that's the report card. And when you make it and you get profits, it's not enough. So what are you going to do? More of it. Which means your family's going to suffer. They're going to see less of you. And I was a ghost in my own home for years. They seen me. Yep, I'll talk to you in a couple of minutes. That's a lie. Hours later, I'm still in there looking at shit. Trading this and trading that. I'm done. I come out. Everybody's sleeping. And I walk through their house. And I would watch them sleep. That's a lonely feeling when I would repeat that over and over and over again. And I would tell myself out loud, I can't do this. Like, I got to stop trading and focus on them. I got to spend more time with them. And I could literally see them growing up, laying in their bed, faces changing, becoming, teenagers, and reminding myself, I've said this so many times, but my obsessive compulsive disorder fed into, I got to keep doing that. And you don't realize it, but you lose time. A couple months becomes a year, and a year becomes several. And all of a sudden, now they're adults. And you can't call that time back. You missed it. You wasted it. You blew it. And that's one of the things I hope that you listen to me with, because I know I can make you successful. That's a given. I know I can, but you have to give yourself permission and the time to get there. But the ones that will do it, they'll still mess up by doing the things that I did, because you get too ingrained with trying to make more when it's enough. What is enough? You have to determine that for yourself. But whatever that is, once you hit it, you stop. Then you spend time with your family. Do something outside of the marketplace, your hobby, whatever. Have a life. If not, I promise you, you'll be like these weirdos that's online that are constantly on social media. They're not with their own families. They're talking shit about everybody else. They ain't even proven they're profitable. They're going to sue everybody. You don't want to be that. Okay. That's not what you want to be. You want to be happy. You want to be able to be uplifting to not only yourself, but other people that know you and your family members. And you want to be successful. That's living. That's the purpose of living, is to help other people be fruitful in their life, and you be a catalyst to help them do that. That's why we're here. That's exactly why we're here. We're not here to shit on another person, tell them that they're not good enough or not as good as you are. Run around telling everybody, you're better than them, have more money in the accounts and bullshit. That's dumb. And people that really have money, they don't go around doing that. That's somebody that doesn't have money. And when you're young, you think you want to go out there and do that and flex on everybody. And nobody will care when you do it. They'll have less respect for you when you try to do that stuff. So don't even start it. Keep your mind on running your own business and mind your own damn business. Don't worry about anybody else. Whatever happens, happens. Always be in a position where you're prepared as best as you can and have a game plan and stick to it. And in my opinion, everything I've talked about tonight is how I teach my children. Like, these are the life lessons I learned. These are the things that I learned to get myself prepared for balancing my marriage when I wasn't balancing it well. I'm thankful that I'm aware of it now. I wish I was more aware of it earlier. Like, I wish I would have been more aware of it 26 years ago. But 26 years went by like that. And it's very much a source of regret for me. Despite being successful, despite being where I am, I'm not happy with the way I put my family aside to do everything that I did to be where I'm at now. Because it's hard. It's hard to articulate what it feels like when you can't be satisfied as a young man, wanting something you can't have, which is the acceptance and approval of a loved one that they are gone. So you have to do what? You replace it with something you attribute to equal or more value. And that was image, that was money, that was me becoming Inner Circle Trader, that was me being, who you know me as. And listening to people and transforming people's lives, like I've been so blessed and fortunate to be able to do, is the only source of worth for having done it the way I did, by not spending the time with my wife and my children like I should have. It's not hard to understand how much time I spent away from them, even in the same house. Look how much I'm still talking to you right now. I don't owe you a damn thing. But my heart and my spirit feels like I want to pour out into all of you all the time. You're not talking to me. I don't hear you. But I know you're listening. I know that you're hearing me, and I know that most times I'm hitting the right buttons. Because I lived all this stuff. I've went through it. And hearing the stories of people, finding success with it, seeing their faces lighting up when they're talking about it, like, that is healing for me. Because I punish myself every day for not being the father I should have been and not the husband that I should have been. Mr. ICT, yes, I know, that's me. But what about dad? Well, I failed there. What about husband? I fell short there. So when I see people share their testimony, not only is it comforting for me and it heals me, it gives me a reason to feel like it wasn't a total waste pursuing it, because money's money. But having an impact on other people's lives, that's something you can't put a price tag on. And seeing the transformation in some of you, like you see just the interviews that I've been putting up, and I have more of them coming. But I have people that reach out to me all the time, and so many of them don't want to do the interview. Like, they don't want to show their face. They don't want to be in a position where other people can criticize them, ask them questions, and pry into what they do and what they don't do and why they didn't do this and why did they choose this direction. And I can respect that. There's a lot of people that are in my private mentorship that are, they all talk openly. They're able to talk to one another, and they'll say, I don't want to do interviews, but they share their testimony openly in our community. And there's a lot of people that I've trained I've never seen the face of. I've never heard their voice. And when I have the opportunity to see and hear my students, I get emotional about that, because if I was to open up this right now and start talking to someone, whoever would be asking, and I'm not asking you to ask to talk to me, because I'm not going to talk to you tonight. I will as we go further through the year. But it's not the same. Like, it's not the same as seeing them face to face and then watching them describe what it was like while they learned this, and their view of me as their teacher, as someone that, poured themselves into them, and watching them explain what it's like for themselves right now. And they're smiling. They're wearing their joy. Like, that is such an emotional thing for me. I love it. I feel refreshed when I see that. Man, look, it's one thing when you know it works, it's wonderful. But when you see someone's life completely changed for the better, and they feel confident that they're going to be able to do this going forward, they know what they're doing, and nobody can take it away from them. They can talk all the shit they want about it. They don't care, because they're successful now. They know how to ride that bike. And when you learn how to ride a bike, you don't forget it. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for me to really nail down real people. For a long time, all I saw was usernames. FXM21, whatever the fuck it was. And so many people were in that mentorship. And that's all I knew. A number. That was all it was. And the reason why I did that is because everybody was asking for the same username, and it was already taken. And they were like, well, what about this? And what about? I was like, man, fuck this. I'm just gonna. Here's your username. Here it is. That's it. And then there was also a watermark for people that were leaking it. So anyway, I just want you to know that there's a right way to do this, and there's a right way to start doing it, but you can deviate and make all kinds of mistakes that you won't recognize until it's too late. And you lose time with your family and loved ones. You develop toxic habits, impulsive gambling. All those things can creep in without you realizing until it's too late. And you have to be very diligent in the beginning on how you're going to proceed, how you're going to manage yourself, who are you going to allow to influence you. That's a big one. Man, it's a big one. And you don't really think about it. And you probably didn't think about it like I talked about it tonight until now. Now you have something to consider going into the weekend. Maybe you have to make some changes and some adjustments in your personal relationships, and maybe your marriage, and say, hey, look, Michael was talking about this tonight, and I want to be honest and let you know that I want to succeed, and Are you comfortable with me doing this? And we only look at the end result at the end of the year. And that way I don't feel the pressure that you might be placing on me. Not that you're trying to do it and not that I should be worrying about it. But when you cancel any opportunity for that, it allows you to be objective. And you need to be very objective about what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it with your model. If you don't do those things in the beginning, it's real hard to muster the discipline to start doing it later on, because you get set in your ways. You're not going to be consistent. It needs to be in there in the beginning. And right now, you're just now learning how to read price. You're seeing how nice it is to be able to know what it's going to do. And think about that. That's absurd to be able to say something that we know what the market's most likely going to do. That's arrogant, isn't it? That's preposterous. How can anyone say that and mean it, and yet you see us doing it? Isn't that fun? Isn't that amazing? Think about it. All these big conglomerates, these banking institutions, these financial firms, Wall Street, they're all doing battle, worrying about the fluctuations of these markets. And here we are sitting down every day, measuring to the tick what they're going to do, when they're going to do it. Think about yourself for a second. You're just like me, an average Joe from wherever, small town USA. And we're literally doing what the Goldman Sachs boys, the UBS boys, don't know. Think about that. They're the movers and shakers in the industry. And it's noise to them. I don't know if that gets my rocks off. I love it. I love it. And I love sharing it. I love seeing everyone's excitement when they see it unfold. And it's just hugely motivating. Because otherwise, I'm not really impressed by it. I mean, you see it so many times for so many years. It's just like, oh, whatever. And I fall in love with it all over again, because I get to live vicariously through all of you when you have that epiphany, that moment of astonishment where the veil's pulled back and you see it for the first time. I remember what that felt like. And I get to relive it every single time a student says, holy shit, I can see that. And there it is, it's done. And I get the smile, my face aches because I'm reliving that moment all over again. And I don't feel 50 anymore. I feel 20. And it places me just like a time machine right back in that moment. And it's fun. It's just really such a blessing to have so many of you having that experience and sharing it with me and sharing it with everyone else. It's a motivation that, I never really thought too much about it. Didn't feel a need for it because I was really working too hard to keep this shit going and teaching. But more people over the years asked for it. They're like, hey, look, can you create a way for us to talk to you and tell you what our story's like? And I was like, whatever. I didn't have time for it, really. Making lessons for mentorship and managing different user groups and kicking people out that were fucking leaking it. It's too much stress. Now, like I promised, once I got done with that part of it, I would be able to return back to a little bit more relaxed approach to teaching. And I'm really enjoying it. Like I love teaching it. I love sharing it. I love showing it live because there's nothing better than it. And when you all get a chance to see it and handle it for free, it's disarming, isn't it? Like, you didn't cost anything. You just show up and see, does this person really know what the fuck he's talking about? And then when you watch it, it's like, whoa, wow. And you start seeing my other students doing really well. I mean, think about it. What's $100,000 to you? What's $200,000? What's $300,000 to you? Maybe when you first started messing around with this stuff, you didn't think about those numbers. You were thinking, well, if I could just make $1,000 a week or a couple times a month, make 200, not 200, but like $2,500 or so, that'd be awesome. Get me my payout, try to make my ends meet, get my ends up. Now you're hearing and seeing students throwing big league numbers around.